Good morning, traders. David Kahn here on Thursday, the 28th of August. It's 5 to 8 in the morning, and we're here in 5 to 8 in the morning in the UK, should I say, and we're looking at the fortunes and the activities of the EUR USD on the 1 minute time frame following the Academy 55 indicators and strategy. Well, what can we see here? Well, we've got a buy sort of active at the moment. I have not taken this one myself, and yet we've got a buy, but we'll come back to that after I've done a roundup of looking at the higher time frame and what I think may be happening. So we'll take the indicators off, go on to the daily time frame, and we can see on the daily, I get rid of these former buy and sell zones. We'll keep the grey support and resistance lines, but the sellers tried to get in charge yesterday, but were eventually beaten back all the way up to where you can see the volume. And now the buyers are trying to get into charge in this zone here, where the bodies of the candles are, but they're all indecision candles. Once again, we have a large imbalance here. No selling power this side, no selling power, but that's a long way away at the moment. So they're concentrating on going up gingerly at the moment, trying to increase the fortunes of the EUR, the euro. So we'll go to the 4 hourly time frame. And we can see it's been very disjointed movement, really. Small flags have been formed. Flag, up, flag, up, flag. And now it's coming down. Flag. So I think we'll probably be getting into this area here. So I'd be looking at sells on the longer term, I think. I think I will draw that one up. Just here on this candle here, it's all selling power. So will price at least dip into that? I've got the wrong FVG, fair value gap. I'll put a buy FVG, turn that green to remind me it's buy. So we need more selling power in this candle here. And indeed, I wouldn't be surprised if price gets down to these levels here and then goes up again into these areas here. And indeed, I will draw that one in because that's sell FVG, fair value gap. Again, we will sort that out. Settings. Because we have no buying power on that side, no buying power on that side. So that is in balance. Alternatively, we've got the buy FEG, no selling power on this side of the candle, no selling power on that side of the candle. So we've got the buy FEG. So both need to be sorted out. And the way price is going, I would imagine, well, the way the pattern's going, I would say that at the moment, it would seem that they would sort this one out before they sort that one out. But, could be wrong. Depends on the time of the day, where they are. But nevertheless. So let's draw in some lines on the 4 hourly time frame. Yeah, here is a nice example. Just there. That's the nearest to price. We have a dip there and a point there, one point there, one point there. That was support there, and yet it was resistance there. So this area here at 1.16459 is a support and resistance zone price where you would, if price does get to that area there, you would be thinking, is it going to bounce or break? Depending on the time of the day and the volume around at the time, it might sweep through it, and yet it might just resist it and come back down again into these areas down here, maybe, depending on the time of day and where we are. So that's the nearest one. Let's have a look on the 1 hour. And we've got a more locally, just here, because we've got a point there and a resting place and a resistance point there. Just bring it down a smidge. Yeah, I'd say that's more like it. And it rebounded up there. So that area at 1.16372, that is an area of support and resistance. So we've got, and possibly there as well, where price is right now. As you can see, we've got a point there and a resting place there. But price is there at the moment. So we'll put the candles back on, go to the 5 minute time frame. And we can see all these points of interest. Oh, sorry, that's 15 minute. 5 minute. And now we've got our zones that we favor. Here's the buy zone. And here is the sell zone. As I say, it looks to me, the way price is going, that we possibly could be going down dip into there, into this imbalance that I drew up on 4 hourly before going up to there, but we'll see. So really, I'll be interested in sells. But having said all that, if we put our indicators back on, we had a buy here. We nearly got into the buy zone, but here we had a buy. So I get my tool and go for a minimum of 2.2 pips on the trend line, which is there. So I'd have got in just about there. And as you can see, I would have got my 2% from that buy that happened at 7:38 this morning, UK time. And a buy alert, green volume ribbon, green wave, wait for the trend line to go green, minimum of 2.2 pips away. So I would have got in there, and that's where I would have got my 2%. I would have been wary of this line here, but as you can see at that time, there was enough volume oomph to, because that pip there alone is a 45, that's a 4 pip move on 1 minute pip on a 1 minute time frame. So that's quite a bit large chunk of volume. But now I'd be looking for a sell. Hopefully, I'd like to see price getting into this sell zone before reacting and coming down and giving me a nice sell. And that's the next alert anyway, because we got sell buy. So that's how it goes. You go scrunch this up. You get a sell buy alert, sell alert, buy alert, sell alert, buy alert. So the next one up would be a sell anyway. But we've got all these points of interest. That's all they are, is points of interest to look at price, whether it bounces or breaks. So we're waiting for the next sell, and the scenario for the next sell at the moment would be .2 pips away on the trend line there, on the purple line, and coming down. So that's what we're looking for to happen. A nice sell alert, everything going red, red, red. But at the moment, as you can see, we've got a strong volume going up. Like I say, really, I'd like to see it get into the sell zone to give me extra confirmation, but it doesn't always happen that way. So that's the scenario. So we're going to play this in a minute. Here's a word from Steve.
Hi, this is Steve with a very short video to show you where to get the training for the indicators and tools we use inside Academy 55. So once you're logged into the members area, you'll see in the premium dashboard this section that's entitled Start Learning. And if you click here, that'll take you through to the learning library. Now, we'll say at this point, we highly recommend you watch each of these videos 2 or 3 times to get a full understanding of how everything works. Here you'll find tutorials on using the MT4 Trade Assistant and how to use the MT4 platform with the Trade Assistant. This is the longest video you'll find inside the platform. It's around 30 minutes long, well worth your time. Watch the video once, then maybe write a few questions down that you might have for yourself, and watch the video for a second time, and things will really start to make sense. By the time you watch it 3 times, you'll fully understand how everything works. So that's the longest video. It's about 30 minutes long, well worth your time. And then you can jump into individual trainings here for how to remove indicators. These videos are just a couple of minutes long. How to move MetaTrader around like you can in TradingView, Trading Assistant controls, how to do back testing in TradingView, how to draw vertical lines to mark out your hour, and so much more. And by the time you watch this video or see this video, there might be other trainings in this section. But everything here is well worth your time, and you find that, as I said a moment ago, from the main dashboard in the Start Learning section. Now, one more thing just to mention here. If you're looking for anything in particular,
Sorry, Steve, we've got some sorry to stop you mid-flow there, but we've got some movement. So I'm going to put my MT4 on. and going over to the EUR. Make sure you've got your risk to reward in purple, your lot calc in purple, the all important 1% risk. And I like to keep a minimum of 2.2 pips away. And I want to sell. So all of a sudden, we might be in a situation where we will be getting some selling action. Of course, we're waiting for that all-important sell alert. And for these green volume ribbons to peter out and turn red. The trend line to turn red, the wave to turn red. But because we're on the minute time frame, although sometimes we wait a long time, when things happen, they can happen from when you think it might not to actually in a trade within a matter of a couple of minutes. It can work that way. That's why I interrupted Steve with it, and we'll go back to that a little bit later on, if indeed things progress. But at the moment, we're waiting for a sell alert, possible sell alert. You never know. So we're at the juncture where things could happen. Where price is now, just above that, that's where I want my stop loss, just where the arrow is there. That's where the stop loss will be. Price to come down here. Everything else is red, of course. Oh, we had a flash of a sell. Did you see that? And obviously, if price gets down to here, this level here, then it might be a bit, it will be more permanent. There we go. So I'm going to lock that in. That's where I want my stop loss to be, just above the trend and the wave. They're both together at the moment, and the wave has just turned red. We got a sell alert, sell signal. Right, I am in the trade. I'm 2.5 pips away. Am I a bit previous? I'm a bit regretting that now, because look at what's happening. Sell alert's disappeared. Come on, we want a bit of volume to bring it down. It's possibly reacting off that purple line. I was a bit previous. I'm a bit disappointed that I did that so quickly. Yeah. See, you never, and the trend line is still green at the end of the day. So good job I'm on demo, because I reached my 10% yesterday, but that's not the point. I'll treat that as a 1% loss on demo though, because I reached my 10% target yesterday. See, look, my willingness to get in really did kick in. I mean, it could have worked in, of course, I thought, as I thought, it could have worked in my favor. Price was underneath the purple line, but in hindsight, we had all this action here. So, but that doesn't preclude me from trying again. Like I say, I'm on demo this time, so, well, I am on demo because I've already got my 10% target, but I will mark it up in the journal when I get time. But we're still on for a sell, but I'll be a bit more, obviously a bit more cautious this time, and get in if price gets down to these levels down here because of the price action. Very jittery, very nervy. And indeed, we might be on a bigger buy going to that sell zone that we marked up for ourselves. And indeed, the sell alert has disappeared now. And that's another consideration of trading on the 1 minute. Things can go awry like that, but it doesn't mean to say that the sell alert is not on. Quickly jump onto the 5 minute and see what's going on. Because on the 5 minute, got a buy alert there. Although we don't use the indicators on the 5 minute. Yeah, I was way too it's a difficult call to make sometimes. I like to hit 2.2 pips away, not 2, so we'll go increase that. There we go. So it's 222, 2.2. Doesn't mean to say the sell's not still on, but I'm going to be once bitten, twice shy, as they say. I'm going to give it a bit more room this time. That's where I want the stop loss to be. Like that, really. There we go. This time I've got a 4 pip stop loss. You can see it there on the trader system and there. But yet the trend line is still green. It's pointing at 3 o'clock. And that will go red at any time. Because the price is way down here now, which is good. But we're clear of all this action here, which so I'm going to draw that up on the trading view. 4 pips, 4.0, wasn't it? Which is there. That's where I'm at. It takes my 2% down to there, just in the buy zone. And I've got support and resistance lines to think about as well. So if I take the indicator off and go on to the 5 minute, as you can see, I would just be getting into buy zone territory, but my thought process was that they would be, the way price is going, they might be dipping into this fair value gap before going back up again to get into that fair value gap up there. But I was too previous on the one before. But we're creating imbalance there. Sometimes you can overanalyze things, and we get a thing called analysis paralysis. So I'm going back to my MT4. And now the red trend line has turned red. I thought it would anyway, because price has been so low. Well, I'm 4 pips away. And right, so we are in the trade, so it's not going to make much difference what we do now. If it goes, I've got the 5-minute chart on another monitor, so I can have a look and see if price gets into the buy zone, and then I might react a bit more into this area here. But so what we'll do is I'd like to go back to the beginning with this one and play this one.
Hi, this is Steve with a very short video to show you where to get the training for the indicators and tools we use inside Academy 55. So once you're logged into the members area, you'll see in the premium dashboard this section that's entitled Start Learning. And if you click here, that'll take you through to the learning library. Now, we'll say at this point, we highly recommend you watch each of these videos 2 or 3 times to get a full understanding of how everything works. Here you'll find tutorials on using the MT4 Trade Assistant and how to use the MT4 platform with the Trade Assistant. This is the longest video you'll find inside the platform. It's around 30 minutes long, well worth your time. Watch the video once, then maybe write a few questions down that you might have for yourself, and watch the video for a second time, and things will really start to make sense. By the time you watch it 3 times, you'll fully understand how everything works. So that's the longest video. It's about 30 minutes long, well worth your time. And then you can jump into individual trainings here for how to remove indicators. These videos are just a couple of minutes long. How to move MetaTrader around like you can in TradingView, Trading Assistant controls, how to do back testing in TradingView, how to draw vertical lines to mark out your hour, and so much more. And by the time you watch this video or see this video, there might be other trainings in this section. But everything here is well worth your time, and you find that, as I said a moment ago, from the main dashboard in the Start Learning section. Now, one more thing just to mention here. If you're looking for anything in particular, if you come down to the support name of FAQs, click on Get Support, and in this area you'll find a detailed FAQ section, and you can come through here. For example, if you're looking for an answer to a question about MetaTrader, have a look through these, and once you click through you'll find direct links to videos that give you answers to most of the questions that we get asked on a regular basis. So hopefully you found this useful, and back to your further training.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Right, indeed. Let's go back. Now, indeed, price is reacting off this support and resistance line now, like it did there and there. But we're in the trade. Well, I'm in the trade, sorry. All trades are taken for educational purposes only, to remind yourself and remind myself. Price is holding up a bit, really. It's usually we like, well, yeah, usually we like trading in what's called a trending market. But as you can see, we're trading in a sideways market. We only have a very low achievable monthly target. And the reason for that is to take the pressure off yourself. Don't feel that you need to trade, even if it looks good, if you're not feeling right, just don't trade it. As simple as that, because you've got the rest of the month, the rest of the days and all that to achieve what you want to achieve. And the reason we trade with no pressure is because here's Steve again with a reminder.
So here's how you make profits without putting yourself under too much pressure. Let's look at a situation where you've got yourself a $100,000 FTMO prop firm account and you win 10%. You'll win $10,000. Now, FTMO will pay you 80% of that after their 20% commission retention. So you'll make $8,000. $8,000 a month is $96,000 a year. In pounds, that's £71,110. In euros, 82,430. Now, in pounds, if you divide that by 12, you'll find it's £5,925 a month. In euros, €6,869 per month. But what if you only won 7.25% per month? Well, your payout from FTMO would be in dollars £1,115 per week, in pounds £1,000 a week, and in euros €956 per week. So as you can see, making profits without putting yourself under undue pressure makes complete sense. Look at the numbers on the screen in front of you now. On the left, if you win only 10% per month, those are the numbers. On the right, if you fail to hit that realistic target of 10% and only achieve 7.25%, that's $1,115 a week, £1,000 a week if you're in the UK, and €956 a week across the Eurozone. This is why we target only 10%. It's all about making profits without putting ourselves under undue pressure.
Thank you, Steve. Right, as you can see, we've had a bit of a retrace. Running along this support and resistance line, looking for enough volume to break that. And I've not got the indicator on. Okay, there we go. Looking for enough volume to break that and go down to our 2%. Hopefully getting into this, tapping into this imbalance that's down here on the 4-hourly. But we got these hurdles to cross, and if there's enough volume to do that, obviously you'll do it, and if it's not, then we could run the risk of going sideways along one of these lines. But are there more buy orders down here, which the banks are readily going to sweep up? Because this is where the buy zone is. This is where the whole reason you get a zone. We'll go back on the 5-minute, take that indicator off. The whole reason you get this zone is because this is where orders are. Why they don't go down and get them right away is because they are equalizing as they go. Like, for example, see that, let's see, what tool can I use? Oh, yeah. You see this this area here on that candle there, that was in balance from that wick there on the previous candle. And this candle here, the green one, the wick went up. See how it cut out that imbalance to make that more, giving that buying power and stopping that candle being in balance. And now it may continue on down again to reach that, maybe that imbalance down there. this is something that could happen. But alternatively, we have imbalances on these candles here as well. But it's all about timing when they wish to do these things. This scenario here obviously is the one I'd like to see, is obviously getting into taking up all these buy orders, but is there enough money in it for them to do so at this moment in time before getting into this imbalance? I hope so for our trade, but it all depends on the time of the day and how the dollar and the euro, what they found out, what's in the future of the dollar and the euro for in the next hour or so, how they disseminate the information and how many orders are down here. None of this we know. We're just following the footprints of what they're doing, and that's all we can do. So indeed, we are following this support and resistance line, just like we did there. But I'm hoping very much that we will find enough volume to break that and get down into these levels down here, obviously. But yeah. But fully in tune with the idea of getting a 1% loss if price does decide to go and take these imbalances up here before turning it back around. Embracing that and looking at it in the attitude of, well, it's just a 1% loss, which is not a big deal in the bigger scheme of things. And indeed, if one feels inclined, well, no, we're here to follow the strategy. So 2% win or a 1% loss, that's what we're all about. But indeed, if looking at the previous action of what's going on, it's not very encouraging. No trending going on here. It's all tend to be bitty and sideways. But as I always say, the times between 7 and 9 is when you get a bit more of a trending thing going on. So we're in the right for time wise. Usually, doesn't always happen that way. Euro falls on French political concerns. Should prove limited though. Okay. So the French are political terms. That's what's driving the euro down apparently. And now we've reached another barrier. So indeed, this is where we are at the minute. I will, we're about 1%, 1% at the moment, somewhere around there. This is the buy zone here. So when we get to that buy zone, I probably would take, if we get that far, I'll take my stop loss and put it to the entry just in case we don't have enough oomph to get down to these levels down here. One never knows. That's what I would do. every trader acts differently. I realize I'm more cautious than a lot of traders, but then again, I feel I carry a bit more responsibility than other traders because although I say these trades are for educational purposes only, I do realize that some people do follow what I do and take trades accordingly to what I do. Whether they're demo trades or real money trades, I don't know that. But like I say, I try and treat each trade as if it were money and if it was my own money. Hence my cautious approach. But some people are less cautious because they're not live trading. Part of it is because they're not live trading in front of other people in a goldfish bowl, as it were. So they got a slightly different mindset, maybe. I don't know. But we are where we are. And at the end of the day, we're only facing a 1% loss. This is the last live trading of this week. So whatever happens, have yourself a really great week tomorrow, today and tomorrow, and the weekend, of course. And we'll come back just as strong next week. The times when I'm on is in the Academy 55 um, groups, but usually it's around this time, and I do that because, like I always say, between 7 and 9 is a nice time for me, so I can get on with the rest of my day. And also, it coincides with 7 to 9 is usually the time when you get a more trending market, but I don't feel it today. Look how it's all going sideways, even here, even now. So I think I might put my stop loss to my entry because once this flips, parallel star has gone below, and once that flips, because of all this, it makes me a bit nervous as a trader, a bit more than normal because of the action that the candles are doing, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. It's just all too bitty. So the parabolic SAR has gone underneath the entry now, so that's fair enough. So to me, if price, we do have a bit of buy volume and price swallows that parabolic SAR, and I mean, I'm quite happy to break even on this trade if it has to be like that. But obviously, still hoping that we get enough volume to send it down to where we need to go. And consequently, if we get down to this level here, I'll be putting my stop loss to, it'll be stop profit just above the latest parabolic SAR. But now we're on this support and resistance line caught between these two here, because that one now, hopefully that support and resistance line will act as resistance, and price will bounce off as it has done there. But depending on the time of day, big whale might come in and think, you know what, let's have a little pump, invest $100,000, and all of a sudden, $100,000 investment, 100 million dollars investment will equate to a 10 pip move because it takes $10 million to move 1 pip. And in the whole wide world scheme of things, although $10 million seems a lot, that you find down to the back of the couch, it's a in the worldwide scheme of things, that's not that much money at all. Because this is a 6 trillion a day business. Now we've got that flip there, look. So I might indeed be taken out for a break even, which I'm fine with. If indeed that's what's going to happen. Because of the nervy action I can see here on the let's go back to check. On the nervy action, I can see this is all not trending, this is just nervous action. So therefore tends to make me feel a little bit more nervy. But that's not the correct way, because like I say, I'm fully conversant with the fact that well, could have been a 1% loss or a 2% gain. Mixed emotions, shall we say. So if I break even on this trade, so be it. Because we've got the parallel side below price now. And it is what it is. Because this is my second trade of the day. Even though I'm on demo, like I say, I treat all trades the same. Whether demo or live, I treat them all equally the same. So the volume for the sell is petering out. As you can see, the volume ribbon is getting lower now. So we might see a yet more sideways movement as they disseminate that French political stuff that's going on, and work out if it's even worse for the euro or whatever. We don't know what they're going to think. The market will decide. And indeed, I've been taken out for a break-even trade, which I'm fine about, because the action we're seeing here is, it's this is in hindsight a crazy time to trade because of what you're seeing here. It's all nervy action. It's a split decision whether it's good news or bad news for the euro or the dollar, and it's just it's not good. So I'm glad. Well, I'm pleased I broke even on that trade. Hindsight will tell whether I did the right, because that's the original trade there. That would have been my 2%, and hindsight will prove whether I did the right thing or not. Because we got imbalances on that candle there. I mean, I don't know. All I know is what I'm seeing is nervy action, nervous action of price. So I'm pleased to have broke even on that trade. So with that being said, guys, like I said, have yourselves a great day. And a nice weekend, and we'll come back stronger next week and do it all over again. So thank you very much for your time. And by the way, yeah, from a personal point of view, let's just have a look. I'm getting the journal. And this is my journal, which all Academy 55 members are entitled to use. What they can do is delete all this information and then use it as their own. But 10% achieved as of yesterday. It's quite late in the month. Let's have a look. These are screenshots. Luckily I was at my computer. I recognized on the 5-minute price went into a buy zone. So waiting to take the next buy. So I was patient enough to wait for the trend line to go green. Green trend line, green volume ribbon, green wave. And as you can see, this one was very good because it was only 2 minutes. And I got my 2%. Doesn't work like that very often, but it does. And it's always, especially on the euro, that's quite pleasing to see that. But that was my last trade. And as you can see, I got my 10%. These trades this morning, I will put down here underneath that. These are going to be demo trades because I've already achieved my target. Let's go back to right, see. This is where we are now. Prices, see how it respected the purple line, the EMA 462, that's why it's there. And rebounding, reacting off that. But I'm kind of glad I'm out for a break even anyway. So that's fine. And I'll amend my journal later on. In the meantime, obviously, have yourselves a really great rest of the week and weekend, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Oh, sorry, we'll see you again next week. So thanks very much for watching, and speak to you soon. Bye for now.